Hi, I'm Tim. Join me in this video as we unbox, assemble, and test fly the Arrows Hobby Bigfoot RC model airplane. Let's get to it. This is the Arrows Hobby Bigfoot RC airplane. It's a 6-channel model with obviously a rudder, elevator, ailerons, throttle, flaps, and lights for the 6 channels. It can be flown on a 4-channel and just won't have any flaps or the lights. It is a wonderful, almost ready to fly. I built mine in about an hour. You could do it even quicker. It just goes together well. Everything's fine. But what I want to do is just talk a little bit about this airplane. Even though it's called the Bigfoot due to the big wheels, it's really a Cessna 150. Oftentimes with trademarks, they can't call it the Cessna 150. In any event, the Cessna 150 is a wonderful airplane. I have hundreds of hours of flying and teaching in the Cessna 150, 152 series. The Cessna 150 is the 5th most produced aircraft in the history of the world. 23,800 were built over its production run. And it was just a very popular trainer for the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Just an absolutely easy to fly, honest airplane. Several of the 150s, they could make a tail dragger. It came out of the factory with a nose gear. A lot of places would convert them with a more heavy-duty main gear and a tail dragger. This one is obviously a tail dragger. So with that background in mind, let's go ahead and do the unboxing. As we go through the review, some of the things I would like to emphasize: the good part fits, the short control linkage runs, great landing gear, and a very good instruction manual. This is the box of the Bigfoot. I think it's a nice presentation. It's a 51-inch wingspan for the model. The large tires should make for fun flying, and it's got flaps, so that should be good. Good information here on the size of the wingspan, the length of 41.7 inches. Flying weight of about 3 pounds, a little less than that, and 6 servos all built in, and take a 3-cell lipo battery. So I've taken a look at the instructions that you can view online at the Arrows Hobby website for the Bigfoot. Looks like it's going to be a very simple build, so let's do the unboxing next. Let's do the unboxing of the Bigfoot. It's a very nice presentation, nice protection from everything. I'm seeing this for the first time with you, so let's get started. I think we'll start with this one. Looks like the wing. Nice little decal finish here. Large size ailerons, the flaps that are nice. Notice the servos are built in and connected. It's not often you see a connection from the servos to the ailerons and the flaps. I like that a lot. That's a nice feature, with protectors for the clevises to keep them from popping off. Very nice. Tape to cover up the wiring for the lights on the wing, and the struts are already connected to the wing. Again, a very nice feature that'll help with the construction and the wiring that will plug into the fuselage. Ditto for the other wing half with the strut. Again, very nice, good solid feel. Very good. I'm very happy so far. All right, these are some packages of spinners and hubs, some connections for the flap, a Y connector, cover plate, some odds and ends, radio antennas. So we'll go ahead and look at that as we proceed with the construction. The all-important landing gear. Tape to hold it in place. These wheels are going to make it a lot of fun to fly. I like the exercise wheels. Nice solid installation on the metal gear here. Very nice, very nice. Here is the fuselage itself. Again, with the servos, there is the vector stabilization inside. I will be taking that out. I don't think you need a vector for this. The hatch. For access to the battery, the motors installed, a light in front. Very nice, very good feel. This is where the wing struts will connect. The tail dragger, obviously, so the tail wheel is here. We don't have to worry about a nose gear, which is good. and then the servos that'll go to the elevator and rudder. Nice tail, rudder already connected, very nice solid hinge with the control horns, the Arrows Hobby logo. This will screw in for the fin, just a good, I like it, good, well thought out. And the tail, again, hinged, just connected for both halves with a control horn put in, nice solid plate there. Very nice. I think this is going to be good. This is the Wingspan. Good to have. And that is everything in the, oh no, wait a minute, there's one other item, the prop. Nice two-bladed prop. And also there is an instruction manual. As I mentioned, the instruction manual is available for download, and it's a good manual. It looks to be a quite simple airplane to build, but it's taken step by step on this, and so the next step will begin construction of the Bigfoot. We're going to start assembly of the Bigfoot here shortly, but what I always like to do, and I recommend for you to do, is make sure that all the electronics and connections are correct. It's much easier to do this now rather than when it's assembled. So let me go through what I think is going to happen, then hopefully I'll be able to figure this out. I don't think there's any need for this vector thing, so I just take it out for a training airplane like this. You will need a 6-channel receiver for the elevator, ailerons, throttle, and rudder, the 5th channel for the lights, and the 6th channel for the flaps. So I have a Spectrum AR 620 6-channel receiver, whatever you want. My transmitter is 6-channel. Now, the directions have one statement here for the lights, and just says connect the flap and aileron servos using the included Y harnesses, plural. They only gave me one Y harness. It's labeled flap. I have another one, but you need 2 Y harnesses because the ailerons have to be connected from the 2 independent aileron servos into the receiver. So you'll have to, if it doesn't come with your kit, you'll have to get a second one. So let's go through the wiring right here. This is obviously the connection to the battery. If you're not using XC60s, I like them a lot. You'll have to solder on whichever one you're going to use. Just be absolute certain to avoid the polarity, black and white. The battery goes here. Now, into the fuselage, this is a throttle from the electronic speed control, so that'll go into port 1 of the receiver. This is an extra jack. I'm pretty sure that's for reverse thrust. I don't have a port for that, so we're just not going to use this one right here. This is a little bit more confusing. This is the elevator, so clearly, oh, wait a minute. I take it back. Here is the second Y connector. It was somehow tagged on the other one. So here is your aileron Y connector. Okay, good. So the elevator, that solves that, goes into the elevator port here, which will be number 3. The ailerons, which will be one of this Y connector, on each wing, you have a flap, which is a flap. You have the lights, which is the light. This one is unmarked. That's the aileron. So we'll take one of these Y connectors, connect the ailerons, and we'll go into port on mine number 2 right here for the ailerons. And then the rudder is located in here. It's clearly labeled rudder, and that will go into port number 4 on mine. Now the lights are a little bit more complicated. Notice it says gear, but that really means lights because there's no retractable gear on this one. So I'm pretty sure the way this works out, this goes into port number 5 to provide power. And then what will happen is these will connect to the 2 lights into the wings, and yeah, that'll work. These will connect into each of the light ones for the wings, for the wing lights, and then this one, notice it's just a 2-line connection. You just need power. There's no signal required. That goes to the front. That'll be to the nose gear light. So this goes in for the nose gear light, and then the Y connector for the 2 wing lights. So everything's accounted for. The ailerons, the Y connector, the lights with these things here, the flaps with another Y connector into your servo. Set that up with a transmitter for the proper switches for the flaps, and I think we'll be good to go. So let me next hitch up a battery. We'll see if everything goes together. Okay, I'm very happy. As we discussed just a moment ago, everything was correct that I said, so let's go through what I've done. So here's a connection for the battery. That's absolutely normal there. let's go through the receiver for a second. Remember, the BATT function, BAT, is unused. Don't put anything in there. That is for a battery for a gas-powered motor without an in-flight battery. So number 1 is the throttle. Number 2 is the Y connector for the ailerons. Number 3 on this one is the elevator. 4 is the rudder. 5 are the lights. Remember, they call it a gear, but they're really lights, just needs the power. And then 6 is the flaps for the Y connector. And when we look at the wing, we have the lights that go into this little two-prong thing here. This is some sort of electronics for the flashing lights, so just keep that in there. It's just there. The flaps go to the Y connector, and then the unmarked one are the ailerons with the flaps and ailerons right here. So give me a moment to plug in a battery, and we'll go ahead and demonstrate it with a transmitter. So I've got the plane powered up. Remember, especially with bigger motors like this, keep the propeller off anytime you're powering it up on the bench. You just don't need that going on. Make a few noises as the ESC times in. This is already binded to the receiver. So let's go ahead and look on the back for the the elevator servo is right there. This will be the rudder servo. Note it looks like they had to cut off the top so it doesn't interfere with the elevator or with the stabilizer. That's fine. We will just touch the motor for a second. That runs, and it is in the proper direction. Notice the lights are working here, the flashing lights here and on the wingtip. So that's fine. And then for the ailerons, which will be right here, that works fine. And the flaps I've assigned to switch number D on this transmitter, up, medium, and full down. So that's a nice feature to have. So everything works, it's connected. I kind of like the flashing lights, even though you don't have a flashing light on the real Cessna 150 on the front. That's a landing light, but no matter. It's kind of nice, just if nothing else, to identify your plane on maybe a hazy day or whatever, but they're working here and it's fine. So the next step is we'll disconnect the battery and start assembling the airplane. One thing I discovered, there was a little bit of paint overspray in the hatch. In order to get it free, I had to use an X-Acto knife to cut around the edges. Very nice spring-loaded hatch to hold it in place, but I did have to do a very small amount of trimming to get it free from the front. This is the only hatch on the airplane. As I mentioned, a very good instruction manual, great CAD drawings of the various things. Here, one of the two screws, the 3-inch by 0.10 millimeter screws, and the other are the 3.0 by 26 millimeter screws. Here are the two screws. Those are what you have to differentiate. Again, the underside, just to show how things go together with a fit. The landing gear, very logical with the hole in the back. It fits all in that area with the screws. The supplied Allen wrench screws in the screws, just a very tight fit. And once the gear's in place, it's just a solid fit, which is very nice for this model and for its ground handling. The tail is very simple. The rudder and elevators are already hinged to the control surfaces, so you don't have to worry about that. The horns are in place. These are the screws that hold everything in. I used a little bit of 5-minute epoxy to make sure everything was set in place. And just visualize how everything grows in. Again, nice plastic reinforcing for the tail wheel bracket. And there's a quite substantial tail wheel in the back. Here's a finished rear with the rudder put in place over the tail wheel arm with a screw to keep everything in place. And now these are the supplied control rods that go from the servo to the control horn. The main spar for the wings just slides into place. And then you can see the spar in one wing. And I just want to make sure everything works fine before I put on that wing. The wing is screwed in place, so you want to make sure everything's operational. You can't easily take off the wing to fix wires, get it right the first time before you screw everything in place. And that's what I did. And here's the finished airplane. A very nice presentation. We've completed our build of the Bigfoot. Let me go over some of the items of this airplane. First of all, there is the hatch here with a nice little latch that is the battery compartment. As I discussed earlier, I had to use an X-Acto knife to cut out a little bit. I think the paint overspray kept it in place, but that's no big deal. And it's just a very nice hatch right there. That's the only hatch into the airplane. The wings are fixed in place with 4 screws. That all goes fine. It's just a decorative antenna right here. Spinner, very sturdy main gear. The wing struts actually came attached to the main wing, just a cotter pin holding it in there. The servo's all in place. Everything lined up very nicely. In the back, nice solid tail surfaces with a symmetrical airfoil shape to them. The clevises to the rudder and aileron matched up well, just had to adjust them with the threads there, no big deal there. The tail wheel fits in very nicely. There's a screw in here to keep everything in place. But everything fit well, went in solid with the screws, no gaps, no fiddling around. It just was a very well-made, precise kit where everything just fit well. And it feels solid. I think it's just going to be a great flyer. So give me a minute to hook up the battery. We'll see the control surfaces and a motor run, and then we'll wait for a good day to head out to the flying field. Everything's plugged in. You can see the landing light, landing taxi light here, the flashing position lights on either side. So that's fine. What I'd like to do now is turn the airplane around. Take a look at the elevator. Up, down, just plenty of throw. Rudder, left, right. The ailerons, again, plenty of throw. I might reduce that a little bit. And I put the flaps on D, half flaps and full flaps. That should work just fine. And the prop is clear. There's going to be absolutely tons of power with the 3-cell battery, so everything's fine there. The CG, center of gravity, is about 2.5 inches from the wing leading edge. With the 3-cell battery, it works fine for that balance point. Make sure you check that for whatever battery system you're using. So, we're all set. I'm very happy with everything on this kit. I don't have any complaints whatsoever. Just wait for a good day at the RC field to take it out for a test flight. Consideration for those of us that do not have pickup trucks: will the airplane fit in the car to go to the flying field? It fits in the back seat just fine. We are at the field, at the bench, getting ready to do our first test flight, and just a very good looking airplane. So here we are out at the field. Looks like a good day to fly. A little bit of fog, no wind, and we've got the Bigfoot here. So I think everything's in order. We'll plug in the battery, check one last check of the center of gravity, and see if we can give it a test flight. We're going to do a control check of the tail, elevator, rudder free and clear in the right direction, ailerons, flaps. Okay, we'll give it a test flight now. This is the No Kidding maiden flight on a little bit of a foggy morning at the Hilltop Flyers. We taxi out to try to take off into the wind. Ground handling was good. I think the steering is fine with the rudder, no problem with that. Again, plenty of power, a little bit overcorrection on the rudder there, but we are up and away into the mist and our first right-hand turn out of traffic. The model handles well, has got very well. It's got plenty of power, very responsive, just a good, honest airplane. I didn't have to put in any trim, and it's flying just fine. I just was completely satisfied with the way the plane was handling and just how it flew. Here's my first landing, a little bit of a late flare and a bounce, but the big wheels helped with that, and we taxied back for a second flight. Again, the wind had died down. We'll take off the other way. Plenty of power for the takeoff, and we're up and away, and just on this one, a circle to land. All right, just finished the test flights, so the maiden flights of the Bigfoot. Could not be any happier. It is plenty of power with a 3-cell battery, absolutely positive controls, flies well, just an honest airplane. I was a little bit slow for the pictures, which is fine. It handled that fine. If you are flying slow like I was, be sure to use coordinated rudder and aileron for the turns. That is to your advantage. That's a normal part of flying. But just super happy with this airplane, the ground handling, the flight handling, easy to see. I like the lights. I like everything about this airplane. It's a wonderful airplane. And if you want to get one for yourself, I highly recommend it. And if you do, good luck. All right, with the chief pilot, Brentley of the Hilltop Flyers here, and you observed the flight. What'd you think?
I think even a beginner could probably handle this plane.
Yeah, and easy to see.
Yeah, very easy to see, even though it's a little clouded out here today.
Yep. It's all good. So thank you for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the future times here at the field.
Good deal. Maybe it'll clear up and I'll get some flying.
There you go, absolutely.